This video is going to review requirement 9, A and B for electricity merit badge for Scouts BSA. Here at the front of my house, this light behind me is being powered by wires from the electric company. When the wires come into my house, there's a meter that tells the power company how much electricity I'm using. It's usually on the side of most houses. Let's go find mine. This is the electric meter on the side of my house. They're usually round. They have your power company's name on it. And the important part here is the number that it's going to show, showing how many kilowatt hours I have used, which is the amount of power I have used since they reset it. It's a running total, and right now mine is 76706. So for requirement 9A, you need to read an electric meter, and then using your family's electric bill, determine the energy cost from the reading. On my reading, it was 76,706. And over here is an electric bill. On the second page of mine is where it shows the meter readings. This was for the previous month's cycle, so I had started at 71,000, and then I ended at about close to 74. And the difference between those two, 2639 in my case, was multiplied by different rates that they have, and then added up for what was me a very expensive electric bill, about as expensive as it gets because of the air conditioning here in the summertime. For you, you need to take the number that you got from the electric meter, subtract that from the most current reading that you have, and so in this case it would be 73,900. You're going to get the difference between those two. So let's do that for me. 76,705, I think it was, minus 73900, and I can multiply those two things, that difference, by about 0.01, I'm sorry, 0.10, because that's 10 cents per kilowatt hour. 10 cents per kilowatt hour is pretty average. It's close to true here on my electric bill. And so for me, this came out to 280.50, and my electric bill was 305.21, so pretty close. So take the difference between what you read on your meter, the most current reading on the electric bill, and then multiply that by 0.10. And that will give you close to about what you would owe the electric company if they came to read your meter today. Requirement 9B is to discuss different ways in which you and your family can save electricity in your household. This is a pie chart breaking down how power is used by a typical household. Believe it or not, almost half of the energy used by a household is just for air conditioning and heating. Obviously here in the south, more cooling than heating, but in the north, more heating than cooling. So the way in which you can save energy there is by setting your thermostat appropriately, right? In the summer, you might set it a little hotter, or in the winter, you could set it a little bit lower. A hot water heater is one of the next big things. A hot water heater is what gives you the hot water in a shower or sink. The way that you can save money on that is by not using hot water as much, but more practically is you can turn down the maximum temperature that the hot water heater is maintaining. If your family doesn't need a crazy hot temperature, you could turn it down by a few degrees. The third big way that you could look into saving electricity is with lighting. Obviously turning lights off when you're not using them is good, but you can also look at the type of light bulbs. LED light bulbs, which are a little more popular these days than the old type, which were called incandescent, are much more efficient, and they sometimes use just even up to about a fifth or even a tenth sometimes of what the old light bulbs use. So when possible, LED light bulbs are a good idea. One of the next big culprits is the washer and dryer. The dryer especially, because the dryer is basically it's a huge heating element that is on for about an hour at a time. So the practical way to save money there is to not dry for too long, but you have to use your dryer. One of the fourth big things you can do is your refrigerator. And practically you want to leave your refrigerator on all the time, but one thing you can do that is practical is you can not put food in the refrigerator until it's cooled down. So if you've just had a large stew or something and it's very hot, Give it some time on the counter to cool down before you put it in the fridge, and the fridge will have to use less energy to cool that stew down. With an electric oven, just don't use it if you don't have to, but everybody likes to bake. Up here are computer, dishwasher, and the TV, DVD, and cable box. It's some of the first things you think of when you think about saving energy is things like computers and DVDs and cable boxes. And while those certainly do use electricity, you have to remember that if you truly want to save money, you got to hit the big stuff. Cooling and heating, hot water heater lighting, and the drying, I think, are huge.